Hey guys, it's your host Patricia. I'm back with another episode of The Dialogue. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember that our mantra here on this show is that we are healing souls one conversation at a time. It is always a humble blessing for me to get on and share any content that God drops in my heart, in my mind, or my spirit, or that comes through inspiration from conversation or just being outgoing about on my regular today life. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about maximizing your life after abuse. So I stated the other day on some of my Instagram, which you can follow me at Patricia Tomlinson _. I'm also on TikTok at The Dialogue too. And I just have been briefly talking about abuse. As we know, this month, which is May in my recording time, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Most people don't understand that a lot of people come to a place of having mental issues and or breakdowns from trauma, being abused, being sex trafficked, being molested, raped, emotionally, mentally, physically abused, spiritually abused, gaslighted, manipulated. There are so many things that puts the mind in a jam, a traffic jam, and it's just stuck. And so as we are talking about the content of abuse, hoping to give you guys some clarity so that some of that can be broken through so that you can start to maximize and live your life after abuse. Okay, so I'm going to give you some pointers. I'm going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to give you some insight. It's going to be a really interesting episode. Don't forget to share this with somebody as I speak with you on this podcast. It is my hope that you're sharing the content with someone else. Trust and believe, I personally feel that everyone in their life has been impacted by some form or type of abuse. No matter how it left them or how it affected them, everyone has, in a sense, almost been abnormally used. And so this can help someone. You never know what secret someone is holding in their chest, close to their heart, that they're afraid to tell everybody. So if you listen to this and you think or run past somebody that you think it can help, don't forget to share it with them. Okay? So as I stated, today's subject is maximizing your life after abuse. And I have a couple pointers and I'm going to give them to you. And we're just going to go on about our day. So I have about 8 things that you can do after you have been abused to help you maximize your life. And what do I mean by when I say the word maximize? When I say the word maximize, I am simply referring to living your life abundantly. When people get abused, what happens is there is a stripping that takes place in their life. They are stripped from who they used to be, their identity, their purpose, their goals. Because in order for a person to be abused, that person, that predator, or that narcissist, because we know narcissists are just all about themselves. They don't care about anybody else. They're just all about what's on their daily agenda that they need that person to tend to. There's a stripping that takes place. That person is stripped. And after abuse, you have to go through different steps to getting yourself back, getting your identity back, getting up in the morning and feeling robust and alive. And it's a process. Some people can process and go through it very quickly. Some people, it may take them years. I am not the one that believes in that jargon slogan. It just says, get over it. Because sometimes the healing process is harder than actually what you endured. Because you have to go back to that place and recall and remember what happened to you and how it happened to you. And so it's like it's a double whammy. You're feeling what you're feeling as you're going back, but then you can also remember how you felt when you were in it. Okay, but we want to get you past that. So I have 10 recommendations or suggestions for you to do so that you can pull yourself back up out of that dark place, pull yourself out of that pit and start to live your life. So number 1, learn how to love yourself. Oftentimes when people are abused, what happens is if they are the type of person that doesn't love themselves or doesn't know what they want in life, another person comes in and gives them a false sense of love to get them to do what they want them to do. But you feel so pleased because someone's loving you. You just keep doing it over time. You end up losing yourself. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and they said it. And I also saw it in an article today as I was doing research. It was said, no one can love you until you love yourself. Most people are waiting to be loved by someone instead of being loved for themselves. Okay? Number 2, reconnect with your mind and body. Sometimes when people go through traumatic experiences in their life, they decide to disconnect from themselves. They call it a dissociative disorder, where you are walking around. I more or less equate it to the zombie effect. You're up, you're walking, you're moving, but you're not living. You're existing because you're there, but you're not present in the moment. So oftentimes, as you are abused, you have to reconnect to your mind and body. I'll give you an example. I had an opportunity to not only read the book by Tina Turner. Actually, we all have had an opportunity to watch What's Love Got to Do with It. Okay. And so when I read her book and also listened to her interview, her abuser was her husband. She said that oftentimes she would make herself not think about anything because if he asked her, what are you thinking? And he thought she was thinking something, he would beat on her. Just for thinking. So what she did was she dissociated her thoughts and how she felt and what she wanted to be available for him to not make him feel inferior or less than through her thoughts. And so, as you know, after she got out of that, she had to go through meditation. She had to go through finding herself again, get other record deals. The only thing that she left out of there was with her name. But she had to find herself again. And that's what it means when it means to reconnect to your mind and body. Number 3, you have to face it head on. Abuse, when you are in cycles of abuse at the hands of a perpetrator or a predator, it can go on for years and years and years. And somewhere in there, and this may be an ouch moment, you have to face it head on. And you have to sit with yourself and not always blame the other person. Not always put what they did to me. Somewhere in that sentence, you have to change they to what I did to myself, what I allowed to happen to me. Now, let me pause for a second. I'm not talking about if someone was raped, molested, or abused in those type of contexts. But what I'm saying is that if you are the type of person that you became privy or aware to the insider information that this person was not good for you, that they didn't love you, and you kept trying to go back in, you kept trying to change them over and over, and you got burnt again, face it head on. It says, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me 2 times, shame on me. Because there has to be a point where you face it head on to break the cycle to move into something new. And I hope I said that as gracefully and tastefully as possible. Which leads us into number 4. Evaluate your life and your decisions. As a woman, sometimes women go through cycles where they continue to choose the same type of men with the behaviors, just a different face and a different physique. At some point in your life, you have to sit down, and this is to men and women. You have to sit down and look at yourself and say, why do I keep attracting this specific type of person? What decisions are you making? Yes, it takes a while to get to know a person, and sometimes we don't pay attention to the red flags, even with decisions with business, decisions in our physical life, working out, eating, okay? Because there's other ways you can abuse yourself just besides being in a relationship or connected to an abusive person. You can abuse yourself through eating. You can abuse yourself through not taking care of your health. You can abuse yourself by not showing up and being present in the day. So you have to, number 4, evaluate your life and the decisions that are leading you down a path that is not fruitful or productive. But once you do that, I know sometimes it can be really, really hard because some situations that we get ourselves into, it's literally just that we didn't understand that that person was like that. We didn't know what we were getting into. but in there, it is free will. You do have to ask yourself, what did you will into your life sometimes? That comes through evaluating. And when you do that, this leads me into point number 5. You have to have compassion on yourself. Because we're talking about maximizing your life after abuse. For some people, what they do, they go through a situation where they're abused. They come out of it physically, but they don't come out of it mentally. They don't come out of it emotionally. They don't come out of it spiritually because they continue to beat themselves up. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe that I said that. I can't believe I acted like that. Maybe you embarrassed yourself. Maybe you said things that you didn't mean. Maybe that person won't let you come back and apologize and create amends so that you can move forward. Let me give you a disclaimer and help you with something. You can't control that other person. This is why it's important to have compassion on yourself. Because sometimes you've changed and transformed, and sometimes that other person haven't. And so what they do is they keep you in bondage to wanting to apologize or wanting to see you suffer. And so they won't let you do the things that you need to do to move forward. But in having compassion on yourself, realizing that you're a human being that is able to make mistakes and that you are going to make mistakes, you can have compassion on yourself, which will lead you into redefining yourself. Me personally, I love redefining myself, discovering different things about myself, different hobbies. I'm actually going through that right now, re-strategizing, redefining my life, who I am as a woman, what do I want to serve to the world, what new narrative do I want to paint about myself. You can redefine yourself because oftentimes when you are abused, someone puts a word on you or a sentence. You're only good for sex. You're only good for being used for your money. You're only good for being used for a conversation to waste the time until the next person comes back. You're only good for a rebound. You're not worthy. So what happens is you take on that narrative, not even knowing that that's what that person put on you, but you can tell because of how they treat you, how they act around you. So you have to redefine yourself. Who you are. What do you want? What do you like? What don't you want? You have to redefine yourself. And you can do that, which is number 7, by using positive intention. I'm going to spill the tea on this one. Abusers are not positive unless they are getting something that they feel is going to benefit them. We all know of the person that comes into someone's life and they butter them up and they gaslight them, which means they make them feel good about themselves, make them feel like they're loved, that they're needed, even that they're the only person in their life, simply to break them down, to get them where they want them to. And so when you use positive intention for yourself, you determine, I don't want that in my life. So you sever ties with the negativity, which I say is darkness, the criticism, the ostracism, the demeaning comments and behavior. And you use positive intention, whether that would be to do something for yourself, say something nice to yourself, get yourself something, buy yourself something, take yourself somewhere, start a new hobby or a new habit. Positive intention will pull you forward. And the better you are towards yourself and the more positivity you use towards yourself, you will start to see that negativity was not what I needed to be surrounded by, and it will pull you forward. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, with abuse, we always tell people walk away, get away, but until they're tired, they will continue to stay and remain. They have to be fed up. If you are someone that's being abused, you have to be fed up. And as the positive intention continues to go, what happens is that you will start to create a plan for your life. You'll start to create a plan for your life. Because As we stated prior, you have to reconnect with your mind and body. Using positive intention will help you to see yourself differently. And then you'll be able to create another plan and start to execute. As you create your plan to execute, now you're working out. Now you're eating differently. Now you're viewing different content on TV. Stuff that makes you feel lighthearted and happy and like you haven't expected in and you want to do better by yourself. Now you're taking vacations. Now you're going back to school. Now you're doing things that you aspired and dreamed to do that this person told you that you couldn't and even believed that you couldn't. So you took on their mindset to believe that you couldn't, but you always could. And so now you're creating the plan. You're creating a new vision for your life. And this will help you to move forward, which is number 9. Moving forward. Moving forward, as I understand it, oftentimes is a mind thing. Because your mind will tell your body what to do. And sometimes the moving forward can be extremely painful because sometimes abusive and toxic and unhealthy situations are all that some people know. And so they become accustomed to it. But when they're tired, it starts in the mind and then they'll move forward. You will begin to see them emerge, blossom, and bloom out of the situation that people often say they're not going to get out of that. And finally, the last one, and this is one of my favorite ones, because it means that you went through the process and that now you see the light and now you want someone else to see the light. You pay it forward. Which means that you use your story, your experience, what you endured to help someone else. Very often, friends don't listen to other friends when they tell them you need to get out of that situation. They're not healthy for you because oftentimes that person, that is the abuser, has already come in and told them your friends are not going to like us together. But it's to create a wall so when the abused individual seeks refuge, they're not going to listen. When their friends talk to that abused individual, they're not going to listen because this person has painted a picture that the friends are jealous, they're envious, they want that person. And so it's already in their mind. And so a friend may not listen to a friend, but sometimes they listen to a perfect stranger and they also listen to someone that has overcome. Overcoming, emerging, transforming, changing, shifting in yourself and showing back up and letting people see the new version of you is oftentimes more impactful than what you can say to someone. Because we are living in a time where social media, which is derived mostly off of pictures, context, of course, with the verbiage, but people are listening by way of what they see. Their eyes. Can people see that you have changed your life? Can they see that you evolved? You can't just always use words. You have to put action towards it, execute your plan to show up the new version of who people didn't think that you could be. And that's how you pay it forward because people will begin to see. They saw you 6 months ago. You're nothing like what you look like 6 months. And I'm not talking about so much physique. I mean, it's great if you're working out. I'm talking about where your mind is, where your emotions are, how strong you become. You can use all of that to help someone. Most people turn it into a business. Some people write a book. Some people create a movie. Some people begin to speak and motivate others and inform people of their story or their testimony. You can be that strong anchor. This is how you maximize your life after abuse. You take the necessary steps that are needed to keep moving forward. Maybe some days you have to sit down and take a rest, but your mind is still determined to move forward. Sometimes you have to re-strategize, sit down, rest. Rest is very critical. However, your mind is still determined that you're going to move forward and you're going to become a different version of the person that you were made into or groomed to be. So it is my hope that if you are being abused, or if you have been in a situation where you have been abused, or you are the person that is abusing other people, because we know that it says hurt people hurt people. So people that are causing harm to other people are just, in this sense, hurt people that have been abused, that have no feeling about it, but they want other people to feel bad. Instead of just being honest and say, I was hurt, they want to hurt other people. It's just putting their pain on other people, regardless of what category you fall in. It is my prayer that as you listen to this content on this channel, that it helps you to maximize your life after abuse. And don't forget to share this content with someone. Please leave me a comment or send me an email. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear your story, if you're comfortable, and tell me one thing that you're going to do, or two, that you're going to do to maximize your life within the next 3 months. Some goals are going to take longer than others, but you're more than welcome to create a plan and let me know about it. So this is your host. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Patricia. As you know, once again, our mantra is that we're healing souls, one conversation at a time. Today's episode was called Maximize Your Life After Abuse. You can follow me on Instagram at Patricia Tomlinson _. You can also follow me on TikTok at The Dialogue 2. And please stay tuned, everybody. We have some wonderful things up and coming to help you on your journey towards healing. We'll be back with more content, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.